All right, so this is video C, or the third video for proportional relationships. And your I can statement is I can write proportional equations given a real world situation. This is going to be a pretty short video, so try and follow along with me. Remember, proportional relationships take the form of y equals ax, where a is the constant of proportionality. That's what we learned in the last video. And what that means is you've got a relationship between some inputs and outputs, like in those input-output tables, and A is what gets your inputs, your x's, to your y's. Let's take a look at just one example here. So here's the kind of problems that you're going to need to do. Some will have a table, and some will just have the word problem part. I've given you the word problem and the table to go with it in case you need to create your own table. This is kind of there as an example. The directions say write an equation for the relationship. Tell what the variables represent. Okay, so here's our problem. 1 pound of turkey cost $4.25. 2 pounds of turkey cost $8.50, and 3 pounds of turkey cost $12.75. So I made a table here, and I made my inputs, or my x's, the pounds, and I made my outputs, or the y values, the costs that were associated with each pound of turkey. And you can see a relationship here. If you look at the numbers closely, you can see that it's about $4.25 every pound, because say $8.50 is 2 4.25s. So at 2 pounds it costs $8.50, and 3 pounds, 3 times $4.25. So when you see that relationship, that's when you can write your equation. Okay, y, or the cost, must equal 4.25 or 4.25 times x, because every number I put in for x, all the pounds, you have to multiply that by $4.25 to get the total cost. So if we were to put 2 in for x, for example, y would be $8.50. Let me show you the math on that. So if I plugged in 2, this 2 right here, into my x of this equation that I just wrote, y would equal 4 25 times 2. And then if we did the math on that, y would equal $8.50. And so it works. This is the rule. 4.25 is the a, or the constant of proportionality. Remember this back here, y equals ax. Well, a in this case is 4.25. So really all you're doing, remember that first video in this series where you were writing rules for input-output tables? This is like the same thing, except we're giving you real-world problems that associate the inputs and outputs with like real-world values. And so to finish up this problem, the first thing you got to do is you got to be able to derive this equation. That means you got to be able to write this equation given the table or given the word problem. Now, some problems, like I said, aren't going to have this table, so you can make your own. But there's one more part of the problem. It says, tell what the variables represent. Okay, so this is kind of an example of what I want, how I want you to write your answers. Let me get this out of our way here. So the first thing that you would do is you'd read the equation, try and find the rule, or the constant of proportionality, and you would write it down like this. So this would be the first part of your answer. And then the second part of your answer, you could put like a comma or something here to separate it. You just write where y represents, and you tell me what y is. And then you do the same thing for x. So where y represents, in this case we have to be really careful because we want to make sure we're accurate. Where y represents the cost and x represents the pounds of turkey. So I've completed all of the requirements for this problem. I've given the equation, and I've told what the variables, or what the letters y and x represent. And that's what you got to do for each problem. Best of luck to you. I know you're going to do great.